Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the live stream Saturday night, live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news. I'm going to move crypto around for you guys and do my best to troubleshoot problems that you guys bring here live with all the pressure on. So without too much further ado, let's get started. All right, so I'm here next to the new rig, which is working pretty well, except for sound, which is the weirdest thing. It's like a high-end motherboard, and the sound, like, periodically just stops. Usually a restart fixes it, but it's irritating for something so expensive to be so quirky. But hey, that's life, right? So anyway, glad everybody's here. Just passed 100,000 subscribers this morning when I woke up and checked. It was pretty close last night, you know, and then I woke up this morning and checked, and we passed that 100K. I'd like to thank everybody for all of your support. Mr. David and Scott Lee have been with me for, I don't know, like 3 years in this live stream. I started the channel in May of 2017, way before the first major the Bitcoin had bull runs before, but I mean before the 2017 run up. And I don't remember exactly when I started the live stream. I think we figured it out. It was I think sometime in 2017, mid to late 2017. So big thank you for everybody. I've got on this Hodler shirt. I don't know if you can tell, but these are all like, is it going to come into focus or not? These are all Bitcoin logos. I don't know if you can't really tell. Anyway, it's a cool shirt. I forgot to put my affiliate link in there, but whatever. Let's go over here. Yeah. So a lot of people were here early. I appreciate that. And we're chatting away. I'll jump in and see if there were any questions, you know, from the newcomers, so to speak. I've got some stuff lined up for you. I'm going to try to stick to the phone tonight. I know a lot of people, just in general, all over the world, not everybody has a computer, but a lot of people have smartphones. So I know a lot of you are working from smartphones, and then a lot of you that have computers prefer to work from a smartphone. So I'm gonna try and stick to the smartphone version of, say, Coinbase and Binance US while we transfer some crypto around, right? But I am gonna work in MetaMask, which is on my computer. I know you can do that from your phone too. I haven't quite prepared for that, so we're just gonna stick to the computer-based, browser-based version of that. I'd like to direct everybody's attention down to the description down here below. I guess I didn't put that Hodler link in here yet. Oh yeah, here it is. Check out great clothing line for Hodlers. There it is. My affiliate link for the Hodler clothing. We can check their website. I don't know. I had some objections from some purists about it, and they were like, I'm never going to walk around advertising Bitcoin that I own it. You know, it's not secure and blah, blah. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I kind of agreed with that. But by the same token, you know, people walk around with Gucci bags and Rolex watches. And, you know, that's a security risk too. But we do it, right? So I don't know. You know, it's up to everybody. And I showed everybody how to buy Bitcoin on the Hodler site using BitPay, which is a little cumbersome, and there are some fees involved. So, and KYC, so it sort of violated that whole thing with buying for Bitcoin. It's weird, you know, you used to be able to buy Bitcoin, used to be able to buy things with Bitcoin directly quite a bit. But it seems that BitPay has sort of, injected themselves into the mix. BitPay is sort of a Bitcoin processor that shields retailers from the raw fluctuating price of Bitcoin. But I think things are starting to evolve again, where people are accepting Bitcoin. That's a big thing in Turkey. We'll talk about that. But anyway, we've got the Ledger Starter Pack, which I haven't quite done a full-blown video on yet. But there is a Ledger Starter Pack that you can buy that comes with a crypto guide and a Ledger Nano S. BlockFi, as always. CoinTracker for doing taxes. If you haven't done your taxes yet, I think they extended it an extra month. Yeah? And we've got the Ledger Nano. Crypto.com, of course, my partner for the last almost 3 years, I guess. Great guys. I've been working with them for a while. Love their platform. Trezor, Coinbase, Kraken, Binance US. If you're going to sign up for these things, please use my affiliate links. There's my email if I don't get to your question tonight. And then we've got all the links to the news stories we're going to cover tonight. Let me just, I've done something different tonight, which may or may not work. I'm going to pop out chat here, right? And then I'm going to take chat over to this window. And I've got this special, what is it? Boom, this one. Ah! But then I disappear. Or I mean, the chat window disappears. I can't really see it, but it's fine, right? The reason I do this is so that when I look over this direction, you guys can see my face. I was watching my live streams. I rewatch them sometimes, and I noticed that in many cases, I'm like looking over here, like forward, trying to read what somebody's asking me, and I'm off screen. I'm like leaning off screen. Like if you look at this one, you see I'm over here doing this. I don't want to do that, so I made this one so you can see my face when I'm reading questions. Isn't that funny? All right, let's get back to this guy. All right. Let's do this and greet everybody, right? Who we got tonight? Well, of course, Scott Lee is here. I don't know if Mr. David is here. He was asking me some questions via email earlier this week. God bless Mr. David. He's been with me for quite some time, even in my failed Patreon page, which I made. I'm not into Patreon. It turns out working on Patreon is a job. Who wants a job, man? I didn't get into this thing to work, right? I enjoy doing the YouTube videos. Sometimes they're a bit of work getting them done, but I record when I want. When I don't want, I don't record, right? I don't have to I kind of try to keep up with comments and killing spam, but that's just like stomping on cockroaches. Just never ends. But it's not a job to me. But Patreon was a job. It's like you got to always... Ugh. Anyway. Let's see who we got here. I've already had money. You guys were discussing some stuff. Avocado Brazil and mobile Android. Thanks for coming early. Kevin is here. Wonderful. Dan Westra is here. As always, it's good to have Dan here. He is very good about catching people that I'm not paying attention to and helping them out. So thank you for that, Dan. Thanks, Treb3 on the congrats on the 100K. It's very exciting for me and everyone else. Scott, I remember Scott said this a long time ago. He was like, why do you only have 20,000 subscribers? You should have 100,000. And this was a year or two back. So here we are, Scott. See where a couple years leads us, right? By Doge. Oh, and by the way, Scott, congrats on the Digibyte. One of your fave coins seems to be taking off. And I'll play around with Digibyte a little bit tonight. Got something. Newbie from Montreal, Claude Cornier. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Could you please explain the difference between Binance Chain and Binance Smart Chain? We'll go into that tonight. Okay, so let's get over to the news. Let's switch back to this camera. And let's see where we're at here. Boom, bitty, boom, boom. Oh, man, I haven't even launched this browser. That's going to be a bummer. Let me, I've got to sign into my password manager, gang. If you guys... Just give me a second. Let me just do this quick. Wow. Okay. We did it. All right, we're in. Okay. All right, news. What's our news today? Let me just run down the news for you guys. I did this earlier. You know, of course, this is one of my favorite subjects. There were, and always are, people that bash Bitcoin because of its environmental impact. This is, it's only used by criminals, right? That was the big one for many years. It's always used by criminals. It's a scam. It's not worth anything. Well, now that it went to 20,000 in 2017, and look at it now. Those were the main three gripes against Bitcoin. Well, all those have been blown out of the water. Anybody still criticizing Bitcoin for those three reasons is on shaky ground, thin ice, right? So now the new one, right? The new one. Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Oh, so everybody's up in arms about Bitcoin being bad for the environment. And we've gone through this several times on the live stream. It's one thing to say, you can say, well, it's not so bad for the environment because it only needs electricity, which can be generated using green technology like geothermal and solar and all that stuff, right? And then there's the other argument that says, hey, I know I am, but what are you, right? Which is kind of, it's not really a logical argument, but it is valid in many cases. And basically what this article does is it breaks down exactly how much waste the current financial system causes. And it is astronomical. So for anybody to sit on these economists and these financial guys to sit on their high horse and point their finger at Bitcoin saying it's bad for the environment, I mean, we should all be pointing at them saying, your system is, astronomically worse for the environment than Bitcoin. So it does a really good job of breaking down exactly how much energy is required to run the current financial system. Goes into, the Bitcoin miners and where they're located, and then talks about the amount of money and time and effort and carbon wasted over these, not just the use of the current financial system, right? We're talking about banks that have buildings, that have bills, that have power, that they have transport, they have trucks that are using gasoline, that move cash around, they have high-speed computers to make the whole system work that also use electricity. I mean, we've got the printing presses for the dollars that that are using up power. But this article talks about how much was wasted in these, like the 2008 financial crisis. The drops in GDP, the 31% of global wealth that was wiped out in these boom-bust cycles of the current financial system. Great article. I'll get off my high horse now and move over to the next article. Let's see here. Let's go. But, I'm always talking about that. And then I love this stuff. This is where we've got a mainstream news site, Forbes, who has this guy, Steven. I haven't read that many articles by him, but, a person that knows about Bitcoin rebutting Janet Yellen's Bitcoin fearmongers pushback from former CIA director, right? This is Stephen wrote the article, but the former CIA director went on about how this is no longer true. This whole thing that Bitcoin is being used by criminals is not true. He analyzed, we've got all these firms now. There he is, Michael J. Morrell. We've got all these firms now that can analyze the Bitcoin blockchain, and the illicit activity of Bitcoin is like 1% of total Bitcoin transactions. And Bitcoin is not anonymous, as you know. it is transparent. The blockchain is transparent, so we can see where all the Bitcoin is coming in and out, right? And this is the percentage of illicit activity, a pretty decent estimate of it, based on the blockchain analysis. And we're like less than 1% now, right? So, but I love these mainstream articles that are refuting these tired old tropes about Bitcoin being bad for the environment and bad for, and being used by criminals and, money launderers and terrorists. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Money, cash, US dollars, rubles, euros are much, much more used to finance money laundering and terrorism than Bitcoin ever was, right? I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that, right? Read the article. It's down below in the description. You guys can check it out. Let's see what else we got. What is this? Did I do this? Oh, okay. And then, see, I think what's going on now is that powerful people have their own mouthpieces, right, that are countering all of these Bitcoin arguments now, right? I don't know if you remember Godfather, one of my favorite movies. You remember where Michael wanted to kill Sollozzo and Captain McCluskey? And they were like, Michael, you can't kill a New York police captain. And Mike's like, no. He was involved in corruption. He got what was coming to him. That's a great story, right? We've got newspaper people on the payroll, don't we? They might like a story like that. I mean, it's like this is, powerful people are sitting around going, you know what? Let's get so-and-so. We'll trot him out and explain that all this BS about Bitcoin, being a tool of China is BS, right? U.S. policy advisor rebuts Peter Thiel. Bitcoin won't undermine the U.S. dollar, right? Peter Thiel made a big deal about saying that Bitcoin is dangerous and that China could use it against us and blah, 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 blah. But all I can say is none of this is really affecting the price of Bitcoin, by the way. Bitcoin doesn't really care what people say about it. It just keeps being Bitcoin, right? Oh, by the way, Bitcoin hit an all-time high this week again, right? That's not even big news anymore, right? Bitcoin hits all-time high again. Okay. We'll just give that a passing thought, right? But I linked to this article, and Bitcoin is still over 60, by the way. This big drop that people were talking about. We'll just talk about this one real quick here. I will get through the news real quick before we... Turkey supposedly banned Bitcoin. They banned it for people... They banned retail people from accepting it as payment. I read a couple different articles, but the first article I read about it was that they did not make it illegal to hold Bitcoin. They just banned retailers from accepting it. And this is raw Bitcoin, right? I think there were some car dealers in Turkey that were actually accepting Bitcoin as payment. And according to Turkey, that's undermining the lira, as if the lira could be undermined anymore. This is actually, a decent story that, promotes Bitcoin, really. Because here we have a country with a currency that's like rats leaving a sinking ship, everyone running for Bitcoin. And so in a desperate attempt to keep their currency afloat and all of their guys in power, right, they're going to try and ban Bitcoin. Right? And then also we'll move to the next story here, which was now there's arguments within Turkey politics about this, right? So the opposition party is advocating for Bitcoin, So it's not a done deal, right? There was a big scare earlier in the year about India was going to ban Bitcoin. First it was Nigeria, then it was India, and there's all these scaremongers out there trying to make us think that they're just going to make Bitcoin illegal. I don't think it's going to happen. Right? Even if they try. And I mentioned this earlier, several weeks back, I would really love to see them try. Go full bore against Bitcoin and then lose. Right? That's the risk they take, right? They go head to head against Bitcoin and then they lose and then they look like complete idiots. And that's what's going to happen. This was Andreas Antonopoulos' argument against countries outlawing Bitcoin. They can try, and they might have some early success, and the price of Bitcoin may suffer, but Bitcoin will survive, right? And of course, in the US, we've got not only big companies that are buying and holding Bitcoin, we've got rich and powerful people that are trotting out media people and hiring them as their advocates and their, what do they call those, lobbyists and everything, writing these articles that are countering all this BS about Bitcoin. So things are changing, gang. Things are changing. Oh, and I love this story here. Phony money paying for real money. Cramer sells some Bitcoin and pays off a home mortgage. So Jim Cramer, who was anti-Bitcoin and now is sort of pro-Bitcoin, supposedly, he made like this, he sold some of his Bitcoin and paid off his mortgage. Happy, good for him. I'm glad he did. But he made some off-the-cuff remark about, oh, it's sort of like using phony money to get real money. Oh, phony money. You're calling Bitcoin phony money. Oh, so, or no, here was it. Okay, so now I guess we can buy stuff with phony money, apparently. So why don't I take my Monopoly money down and buy a car, right? Since everybody's accepting phony money now, right? I don't know, right? I don't think Bitcoin is phony money. How can you call it phony if you used it to pay off your mortgage, right? You converted it to cash, right? You exchanged it for cash, just like you, or dollars, right? Just like you would if you had Japanese yen or euros. You converted them like you do at the airport, right? So if you took Monopoly money into the airport and said, hey, I'd like to exchange this for US dollars, you'd get, they probably call security, right? So if you say, hey, I got Bitcoin, I'm going to trade it for US dollar, do you think that Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken is going to go, oh, we don't take phony money, right? Bitcoin is not phony money. All right, I'm done with that. All right, let's go over to the... let's try this camera trick again, right? Let's go over here. Yeah. And let's bring this guy up. And I'm going to read what you guys are talking about. A lot of questions. Okay. Digibyte. We're going to talk about Digibyte. The difference between Binance Chain and Binance Smart Chain. Binance has two different chains, blockchains, right? The original one was for Binance Coin, right? And then they have some functionality on that chain, the Binance Dex, and there are a lot of coins that are also on that chain, and they call those coins BEP2. All right, that's Binance Chain. There is a different one called Binance Smart Chain. And yes, it's very confusing because there's a lot of overlap and their terminology is similar. But Binance Chain is a completely different blockchain, or maybe it's different, I don't know. It might be integrated in with the regular Binance, I don't know. But as far as we know, they're two separate chains, all right? And Binance Smart Chain also has sub coins on there, Binance BNB being the big one, but there are coins on the Binance Smart Chain that are called BEP20, right? If that wasn't confusing enough, they just added a 0 to the end, but they are different chains. But the Binance Smart Chain is involved with a lot of new dexes like PancakeSwap, BunnySwap, and these farms where people are really earning a lot of money, and it is a rival to the Ethereum blockchain. And the nice thing about the Binance Smart Chain is you don't have to be wealthy to use the Binance Smart Chain. Fees are low, right? It's almost, CryptoLark mentioned this, the last video I watched of his, that the Ethereum blockchain and Uniswap are really the playground of the rich and powerful crypto people. Because who the heck can afford, an $80 fee when they make a trade? or $30 transfer fee when you want to move it from ERC20 token from one place to another. So Binance Smart Chain is Binance's rival to the Ethereum blockchain. It's doing very well. I don't know if that cleared anything up or not. How could China even use it as a weapon? Right. That's, it was really kind of an off-the-cuff remark about Peter Thiel mentioning China, and then that became the headline. All the people that were, kind of pouncing on that one thing he said in that interview. Okay, so let's go down a little more. I don't see any, repeated questions. If I need to move something like ETH from one wallet or exchange to another, is it worth converting it to Litecoin for the speed and lower fees and then converting it back to ETH? I used to do that quite a bit when back in my early videos. If you'll notice, I would always buy Litecoin and move it over to on Coinbase and then move it over to Binance to buy like altcoins, because Litecoin was cheaper and faster. That was my main thing with Litecoin. It was faster. And once I got my Litecoin over to my exchange, then I would use the Litecoin. I would usually have to convert it to Bitcoin before I could buy something else, because there weren't that many Litecoin trading pairs. But yeah, you can use Litecoin like that if you want. There are, tax implications, and there are trading fees and whatnot to think about, but I think you might end up, there's nothing wrong with doing it that way, and you might end up saving money doing it that way, right? Depending on how you're doing it, right? All right, so I wanted to jump in and talk a little bit about Ledger Live. Let's go back to this one. Yeah. So Ledger Live is how you manage your wallets on with a Ledger device, right? It's the piece of software. Now, a lot of people get all caught up in Ledger Live as being that's where the coins are. They are not in Ledger Live. So a lot of people get all freaked out if something goes wrong with their computer, and they're worried that if they make a mistake, they're going to lose everything. You're not going to lose anything if something goes wrong in Ledger Live, right? And then even if you lose this thing or damage this thing, you always have your backup phrase. I don't think people really get it that the 24-word backup phrase that you write down when you set this guy up is the master private key of the device, and in effect the master private key of all of the wallets, right? All of the wallets are derived from that master private key. So you're not going to lose anything unless you lose your backup phrase, and I hear a lot of sad stories because they don't understand how important it is. And they'll go, oh, my ledger doesn't work anymore and I can't find my backup phrase. I'm like, well, then that's it. You're done. But, and then a lot of people do weird things with the ledger, like so it gets stuck and then they try to, they reset it and then it resets. And then they follow the instructions and set it up new again and write down a new backup phrase. And then they connect it to their Ledger Live and it won't work with any of their accounts. And they're like, oh, my accounts aren't working anymore. Can you help me? And I'm like, well, probably because you restored this, you reset this thing as brand new and created a new recovery phrase. So this device does not match any of those accounts you have in Ledger Live, or they have multiple ledgers and they just get all mixed up. All right. So, but really all you need, you can wipe all of these accounts out completely and start over again and just scan the device. So, Scott is a big fan of Digibyte, and I know there's some Digibyte on here, but it's not in my Ledger Live. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Why don't we just go over to add account and go down here to Digibyte. Find it. The kitties meowing over there. Here it is. All right, so we'll hit continue. All right, now, let's get the Ledger device over here. or I'm sorry, this other camera. I can get this thing straight. Got too much on my desk over here. All right. What am I doing here? This one, right? There we go. We just need to zoom in here. Get this thing straight. There we go. All right. It wants me to open the Digibyte app, so I will oblige it by hitting both buttons. All right. Try to hold this where you can see it. It is scanning my device for any wallets that were created with Digibyte, right? Now, the private keys were already there because, and you'll notice I already had the Digibyte app installed on the device. You could have even deleted the app from the device and then re-added the app in Ledger Manager, and you still would have the private keys of the Digibyte wallet, because the way the ledger works is deterministic. It will always recreate the exact same wallet every time, right? And there's my Digibyte. Let's just do that. Just name it regular Digibyte. It's a native SegWit Digibyte account. Let's hit add account. What am I doing here? Okay. All right, we're done, right? I can just turn this off now, right? Turn off that thing. There we go. So if Ledger Live is screwed up, I get a lot of people that are, you know, they're like, oh, when I click Ledger Live, it doesn't launch, and it crashes as soon as I launch it, and what's wrong with this ledger? And I've been using computers much longer than I've been using Bitcoin, but you know, maybe you're just consider the possibility that maybe your computer is whacked out, right? You've got a 7-year-old computer running Windows 7. That's an exaggeration. Or say it's like a 5-year-old computer running Windows 8, or like a really old version of Windows 10 or whatever. And, you know, Ledger Live crashes when you launch it. You know, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know, you know, troubleshoot your computer. Take it into Best Buy and have the techs like clean it up or whatever. Or like do like I do, wipe Windows off completely, back up all your documents, reinstall Windows from scratch, reinstall all of your applications, Ledger Live included. I promise you, Ledger Live will run like a dream, right? And then, okay, Ledger Live is clean. We did that last week. There were no accounts whatsoever. I simply connect my device and do add account and re-add them, just like we did with Digibyte. Boom, there it is, right? Clean up Ledger Live. And then a lot of times I'll say, well, take your ledger over to another computer and try that. And if that works, then you know your computer's whacked out. They always want to blame it on Bitcoin or the Ledger device or Ledger Live, the software. I've had in the past some people said, oh, you know, Ledger Live does X and they know this and it's an issue and, you know, how dare they and blah, blah, blah. But it was always like a particular configuration of computer that the person had, right? Maybe they were just happened to be running the wrong version of Windows and had the wrong kind of hardware in their machine that was causing Ledger Live to crash, right? Ledger Live gets tested by the developers on pretty decent, you know, run-of-the-mill machines. If you're running, you know, a decent, fairly decent computer, Ledger Live should work just fine, right? It has its bugs just like everything. Microsoft Word has a lot of bugs, you know. Software has bugs. But in general, it runs pretty well, right? Usually it's the computer's screwed up. Okay, so I wanted to, what did I want to do? I wanted to, let's see here. Let's go over here. We wanted to do Bitcoin on our phones tonight, right? So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. Well, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to transfer it, right? Let's do this Bitcoin main is our account, right? We want to do a receive, and we're going to continue here. And I have my device, right? So it's going to say, open Bitcoin app, please, right? So I'm going to open Bitcoin app. This is verification of the receiving address, right? This is good because a lot of people say, when I do this, I say, it says, oops, something went wrong. So either your computer is screwed up, your software is screwed up, or you're using the wrong device, right? Or the wrong configuration of the same device. You've reset your device to a new configuration, and now it doesn't match your accounts in Ledger Live. So this is a good test. When you do this receive, you see the address on your device, and then you can match it to the one you see on your screen, right? So let's, I'm going to do this, copy QR code. I'm just going to leave my device in this state here. Turn that guy off. And I'm going to run over to, we'll do that in a minute. We'll run over to crypto.com. And I've got some crypto.com bonuses. If you've got a crypto.com account and you're using your staking CRO and you have an MCO Visa card and you're using it to pay at the grocery store or wherever, you get cash back in CRO, right? You'll accumulate CRO coin as bonuses. And if you use crypto.com, your crypto.com card to pay for your Netflix and your Spotify, you'll get rebates on those too. So you'll accumulate crypto.com coin, and then periodically I'll take those rewards and I'll sell them for something else. In this case, let's use Bitcoin. We're going to go with Bitcoin. Let's stay Bitcoin purists tonight, right? Very easy to sell your CRO. A lot of people, oh, what's good? CRO is not good for anything. Nobody else has it except crypto.com. That's true in many senses, but now they have their own blockchain. They're really expanding. But even if you can't buy CRO anywhere else than crypto.com, it's still a great coin because you get rewarded with it, right? So now we've got a nice little chunk of Bitcoin. I would like to send that to my Ledger device. So I'm going to go into the Bitcoin account. We'll do transfer. We'll choose withdraw. We'll choose external wallet. And I'm going to whitelist a new Bitcoin address because this is a brand new Bitcoin wallet. I'm going to hit the plus up in the top corner. I'll say wallet address, and then I'm going to tap where it says, has that little icon, right? And then we'll just scan that QR code of our ledger. There is our Bitcoin address, right? We'll call this one ledger X new. I'm running out of names, right? I don't know. Let's put 3 or something. Just so I think I may have used ledger X new before, right? We'll hit continue. I don't know if you can go back and delete all of your whitelisted addresses. This is my Google Authenticator. I'm going to tap that that code in the top and just paste it into crypto.com. Right? Now, I had somebody saying every time I click this open email link, it doesn't work. Well, wait for the email to come in and just tap the alert from Gmail. Why just wait for your email? That I don't know what was going on. It wasn't linked right or whatever, and he kept just doing the same thing over and over again, calling tech support. They're just sending you an email. Just wait for the email to come in. So anyway, here we go. We'll confirm withdrawal address here. I'll reopen Chrome. It should take me over here and relaunch the app. Right? It doesn't always show up at the top, so I usually back out and then go back in, and there it is now. All right, and that's cool. It says Bitcoin on there now. They have a new address format. So let's withdraw our Bitcoin. Let's I can tap where it says 100 and choose max. There we go. We'll hit withdraw. Okay, they're going to charge me 0.0004 Bitcoin, which I think is a bit high. There's 3 zeros in front, right? I need my two-factor authentication once again for the withdrawal. The first time we used it for the whitelist of the address. Now we're actually making the withdrawal. So we need our two-factor. There we go. So it's been requested. Now let's check over here. Let's get this thing out of the way for a second, and let's go to price list. Come on. What was that? 0.0004? This is 24 bucks. It wasn't cheap, right? So, the idea of Bitcoin originally was low fees, relatively nominal fees. Now it's a bit higher. So some people are really like cognizant of that, or really like freaked out about that. But I'm kind of like, it was money that kind of came in as bonuses to me. So I'm not going to sweat, 24 bucks here or there. But that's just me. I mean, some people are kind of concerned about this kind of stuff. But anyway, now that we've done that, let's do the same thing with Coinbase. Let's go to our Coinbase app. All right, you can see in my Coinbase app that I have some Bitcoin as well. So I'll go over to my portfolio. And if you don't have Bitcoin, if you've never bought Bitcoin before, you can just go to the home. How do you buy Bitcoin in this app? I don't do it. Oh, I think there's like that. Yeah. Okay. Down in the bottom there, there's that circle with the double white. You can hit that. It pulls this interface up. Hit buy. You can say, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin, right? And then it's linked to my debit card right there. But you can also choose your bank account how you want to do. Oh, okay, whatever. I didn't know that, but okay. And then just put in how much you want to buy and hit buy. All right, and then the Bitcoin will be in your Coinbase account. Pretty easy to buy Bitcoin on your phone using the Coinbase app. In fact, I just saw an article that said that the Coinbase app and the Robinhood app are like the top downloads in the Apple App Store right now. Right? Good stuff. Easy to buy Bitcoin. But we're going to do a transfer, right? We've already got some Bitcoin in here. So we're going to go over to Portfolio, and we'll tap on Bitcoin. And, okay, right there where it says BTC Wallet, 8401, I'm going to tap right on there where it says BTC Wallet. Right? It's going to go in there. And the weirdest thing here, there it is. It's up in the top right. It's like a little paper airplane. That's the send, right? We tap on that little icon there for the paper air. We're just going to like throw our Bitcoin into the air like that. We're just going to send it. I'll tap max. I want to send it all. And I'm going to send it to, how do I do this? Oh, address, right? It's mobile, email, or address. I'm sending it to a Bitcoin address. See that little QR code there? I'm going to tap that. Should open up the camera. Let's go ahead and scan this Bitcoin address. And you may ask, oh, you're sending Bitcoin to the same address twice. Well, yeah, I am, right? You can send to the same Bitcoin address over and over and over again. Once the Bitcoin gets received in Ledger Live, the next time you generate a Bitcoin receiving address, it will be new. It will be different. But there's nothing stopping you from using the same address over and over again if you want to. Right? We'll still get there. Right? I don't need a note. I'm just going to do a preview. Okay, I'm sending all my Bitcoin to that Bitcoin address that you see on my screen there. You can eyeball it and make sure it's the same one. We'll hit send now. I'll use my two-factor authentication for Coinbase now. Let's go back over here. Let's paste that in and hit submit. And there we go. Done. All right. And one more. Why not? Let's do one more while we're still hot, right? Let's do Binance US. Binance US app, right? I've got Bitcoin here. I want to do a withdraw. I want to withdraw it all. Let's preview withdraw. There's my Bitcoin address. I'll tap that QR code again. We'll scan that Bitcoin address. We'll preview the withdrawal. There it goes. They're going to charge me 0.0005, which is more like $25 or $30. They want a two-factor as well. I'm going to let this one cycle out and get a fresh one. We'll tap that, slide back over here, paste that in. All right, they're going to send me an email, which I'll need to confirm there. Boom, come in. It just came in. We'll hit confirm withdrawal, and that should take us back over there, and then boom, we got it. All right, so we just did 3 withdrawals, all from our phone. So you can move Bitcoin from your phone-based apps into Ledger Live. Now, we could have done all this on the using the Ledger Live phone app as well. I'm not a huge fan of that app, and I am in front of my computer, so we'll just stick with that for now. All right, so 3 Bitcoin withdrawals using the same address. I'll go ahead and confirm the address on my device now. If you're probably wondering what the hell is he talking about, it was just waiting for me to say okay, right? This has nothing to do with whether the Bitcoin's going to get there or not. I'm just getting rid of the message on my device. All right, we'll turn this guy off, and then we should have Bitcoin coming in here in the near future, right? All right, let's see what you guys are asking. We'll go over to the Binance Smart Chain in a bit.